I'm sorry, but old Harpo can't come to the phone right now. Why? Oh, 'cause she's dead. Hi, friends. It's your girl Harpo. What's up? It's the first episode of Brown Girl Guilt. Are y'all as stoked as I am? Well, if you've been an OG Harpo stan since day one, thanks, man. You're a real one. And if you just got acquainted with me, hi, hello, sassy, I think you're going to like it here. So, I'm fully committed to giving you all spicy episode after episode, and I cannot begin to tell you how excited I am. Not just for hosting the episodes, but all the elements of production that kind of go into a podcast and its episodes. And while not like spicy, this first episode is kind of spicy for me because my first ever guest is none other than me, Madre. So, not to get all senti on y'all, but my relationship with my mom has been a pretty wild, complex, nuanced one. I've had to take care of her literally my whole life, sometimes more than she took care of me. And this obviously does not make her a bad mom. It just means that, you know what, damn, life is like a big bundle of tangled headphones, which honestly, I feel like I haven't used in a really long time because I'm bougie and I use AirPods. But my mother spent most of her life without her own mother. And for reasons that probably only psychology and Marion Woodman can explain, I ended up filling in for that role in her life a lot. And this was further exasperated when my nanny died by suicide in 2016. That's when shit really started to pop off and hit the fan. And that's when the universe called out to me and said, that's it. We're going to start healing. But I will say that after many sessions of therapy and leaving Surrey to go like F off and live on my own for a year, I realized that I needed my relationship with my mom to fall apart so that I could fall apart. And I needed to build that relationship back up so that I could build myself back up. And let me just say, it hasn't been easy. I know people in pop culture and the world altogether like want us to believe that mother-daughter relationships are supposed to be fun and deep and some sort of something. But waking up and realizing life isn't actually like that is kind of a wild awakening. It's also not very realistic to assume that you and your mom are going to be like BFFs and have a wonderful, beautiful relationship. And so this relationship has been the toughest one in my life, and repairing it has been crucial. It makes me who I am and what I will become. And all of my inner child healing has stemmed from something called the mother wound. And so for me, it was in understanding my mother that I was able to fully understand myself. So naturally, it's also most intentional for me to set the foundation of Brown Girl Guilt with the person who has given me my foundation. So, guys, this debut episode of Brown Girl Guilt is with none other than my mom, Manmeet, who you will often hear me lovingly refer to as Meetay, as well as my friends, because now they all call her Meetay too. And so in this episode, I ask her what she gained, what she lost by becoming my mother at the age of 19. Like literally, guys, 19, a baby having a baby. And also asked her what it means to be the mother of a bold, sassy, tenacious daughter. That's me, bro. So get excited. I'm so excited for you guys to hear this episode. Here we go. This episode of Brown Girl Guilt is sponsored by Preeti, the esthetician from the Skin Doctor. Think about it. Your skin is your body's largest organ. Taking care of it requires effort and care. And I always say, skincare is self-care, and it's a radical act of self-love. Preeti at the Skin Doctor will help you first set up your skincare practices and then help you achieve your skincare goals. She can literally help your skin shine. And with board-certified dermatologists and the latest scientific technology, you literally can't go wrong with picking this place and these experts. So visit theskincaredoctor.com or check them out on Instagram at the.skindoctor and make sure that you tell them your girl Harpo sent you. So, Mom, you excited to be on the first episode of Brown Girl Guilt?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah?
Kind of.
Kind of. Why not all the way?
No, I'm happy.
Yeah?
I'm happy.
Well, I think it's like a pretty big deal for me to have you on my first episode. And the reason I wanted to have you on the first episode was because when we were planning the podcast and planning the schedule, we were like, okay, we should have like a really strong, powerful woman on the first episode. And then I thought to myself, who is the strongest, most powerful woman in my life? And sometimes we always look outside, right? Like we look to see who's on TV. We look to see who's like who we like, a celebrity or like anybody in the community. But we never think about the strong, powerful women that are in our houses. And those are our moms. So that's why I wanted to have you on the first episode, because you are the most strongest, most powerful woman in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you feel that way? Do you feel like a strong, powerful woman?
Yeah, sometimes.
Why only sometimes?
Sometimes I feel so weak. After you born, I feel really strong
Mm-hmm.
because somehow I feel, oh, now I have the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow I'm strong and I feel myself is really proud of me, myself,
Mm-hmm.
because I have the daughter.
Okay.
There's so many people's need, oh, I have munda chaida, oh, I have some boy. But kind of I'm inside, I'm so happy.
Mm-hmm.
I have a daughter.
So your strength came from, let's say, becoming a mom to a daughter.
Yeah. And I remember when you born and my sister-in-law's mother-in-law, and she came one day and you are my hand, and she told me how you feeling, you have a daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and now you mom, she call you mom, how you feeling. That day I feel, oh, I'm mom now.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a big day that day. Even the I don't feel difference when you born that day. I feel really different that day
Mm-hmm.
when she told me, "You mom now, you
Yeah.
have daughter." Then I feel, oh really? When I go my room
Mm-hmm.
and stand in mirror and I feel I look myself and then I, oh really, I'm mom now
Yeah.
and I have a really beautiful daughter,
Wow.
and that's you.
Aw.
Yeah.
Me, your perfect child, your favorite child.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I have my son too, but your brother, but
Yeah.
I feel really different your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's different for you to be like, maybe not why? How is it different for you to be a mom to a daughter than it is for a son? Like what's the difference you think?
I feel myself on you.
Okay, so you see yourself in me, let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sometimes I feel that way. I feel like I think moms are sometimes like harder on their daughters, or there are like they treat their daughters a certain way because sometimes they're doing to their daughters, or they want their daughters to have what they didn't have. So I remember like growing up, you would always want to do my hair a different style, or like you always wanted me to wear certain clothes, right?
Yeah.
Indian clothes, non-Indian clothes.
Yeah.
Even up until a few years ago, you always wanted me to dress a certain way, and I had
Yeah.
to fight back. But I eventually realized you wanted me to do those things and look that way because you never got to do those things, and
Yeah.
seeing me do that made you happy on the inside.
Mhm.
As a maybe like the 10-year-old Manmeet or the 15-year-old Manmeet, she didn't get those things, but seeing Harpreet at 10, Harpreet at 15, that made you happy.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
So I also wanted to ask you, like, you're talking about how you became a mom in that moment, right? Before that, life was different for you, and then life became different for you after that. So I have a picture of you in my room on the wall, and it's a picture of you on the day of your wedding. It's in the morning. It's before you even got married. And I love that picture because for me, like, you're very young in that picture. You're 18, right? And I think like for me that represents a kind of innocence and a kind of naivety that seems very peaceful, right? So you became a wife at 18, and then you became a mom at 19. What did you, as a woman, though, right? Not as a mom, not as a wife, what did you, as a woman, what do you feel like you missed out on in life by becoming like a wife and becoming a mom so early in life? What do you feel like you missed in life as a woman?
My teenager time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so it's fun time You dress up, go whatever you want.
Yeah. Like freedom, independence.
Friend, yeah, you looks boys.
You missed out on dating?
Yeah.
Would you have even dated? Oh my God.
Oh, I do have chance.
You don't even have the chance.
If I have chance, then I can do it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Your dad's gonna hear this and say, "Excuse me."
Yeah. That part is that moment I miss myself.
So something I wanted to ask you about was when you grew up in India, you didn't go to school. Like you didn't get a formal education. I think you were, from what I know, you were like maybe 9 or 10 and you got pulled out of school for family reasons, right? Family responsibilities. Nani used to be unwell, so you started to take care of the house, right? At like 9, 10, you were always doing the cooking, the cleaning, taking care of your dad, your brothers. So you didn't get a formal education. And then because you didn't get a formal education, you moved to Canada, you didn't know how to speak, read, or write the language, right? But what I remember is that a few years ago, you actually enrolled yourself into English classes and you wanted to learn English. Why did you do that? And what did you want to do that for?
Because I feel sometime when my friends sitting and they speak really fluently English and they write down something, then I feel so guilty. Oh, मैं ਇਹ ਕਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇਹ ਲਿਖਦੀਆਂ ਆ ਬੋਲਦੀਆਂ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ I feel so guilty. Then one day I just decided, oh, I wanna learn English. And ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਦਾ ਬੋਲ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੋਵਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਲਿਖ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੋਵਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ otherwise I feel I'm perfect. ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਕਿ oh, something is missing on me. Then I decided and I just go and learn English.
Yeah. See, and a reason that I bring that up is you might be wondering, like, why are you asking this question? Because for me, that was so important for me as your daughter to see. Like, there's something that my mom feels like she's less than in, right? Something that she's insecure about, and she wants to rectify. She wants to fix it, right? I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but daughters are always watching their moms, right? So when you did that, you decided to do that for yourself. It was very empowering for me to see like my mom is putting herself first, especially when in our culture, in our families, we see that our moms don't necessarily put themselves first, that you were putting yourself first. I really liked seeing that. And that's why I was wondering, like, what was it that made you want to get up and say, I'm going to do this for myself? You know?
Yeah.
You're feeling a little senti right now?
Little bit, yeah.
Why are you feeling senti?
Because I feel really, really guilty when I go your dad outside, and there's some girls they're speaking really good English, and he's speaking really good English. When I studying with him, I feel so guilty, feel low, just like मैं कुछ ਹੁੰਦੀ नहीं ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਲਾਇਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੁੱਡ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਆ ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਲਿਖੇ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਕੱਪੜਾ ਪਾਉਣ ਨਾਲ ਲੁੱਕ ਗੁੱਡ ਹੋਣ ਨਾਲ ਆਮ ਨਾਟ ਲੁਕਿੰਗ ਮਾਡਰਨ ਜਦ ਤੱਕ ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗੂਗਾ ਉਹ ਇਹਦੀ ਵਾਈਫ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਇਹਦੀ ਵਾਈਫ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੈ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ sometimes in family they feel I feel really guilt when my sister-in-laws they all they speak really good English or they write down it fluently they write down anything I feel really guilty I feel really shamed to myself
Yeah.
or this thing is I'm missing in my life right.
What's interesting is that you feel those feelings of guilt and shame only when other people are around, right? Like when it's just you on your own, you don't necessarily feel like that's something that you should work on or something that you should do, right? Like you only feel guilty and shameful when there's other people in the picture. What if there was no people in the picture, right? What if your husband also didn't speak English and didn't feel comfortable speaking English? Would you still feel guilty, you think?
But sometime I feel this myself too when I go some a doctor appointment or they give me a form I feel it right then I feel really guilty
Mm-hmm.
because I now I write down myself anything or read anything. That time is really
Mm-hmm. Hard.
hard to
Yeah.
for me.
And,
Yeah,
you know, so if I was to put myself in the same scenario, like when I was younger, when I was like 9, 10, 11, even, and you didn't know how to fill out forms, and I would go to the doctor's office with you and I would have to fill things out at such a young age, or you know, I used to write checks. Remember when
yeah,
dad wasn't home, I used to have
yeah.
to write checks, and I used to be so scared. I think I'm still so scared to write a check because I'm so scared that I'm going to ruin it and I'm going to get in trouble for ruining a check, even at age 24. But it was because you didn't know how to do those things. And like a couple years ago, when I started to go to therapy, I was like, I would say like, oh, I'm so mad that I had to do those things because my mom didn't know how to do them, you know? But now listening to you, I can understand that it wasn't your fault. Like it wasn't something that you were doing on purpose. It was just the reality of it.
Yeah.
Right. So I actually, a question that I want to ask is very related to what I just said. You know, when you became a mom to me, that was the first time you were a mom. That was your first try at it. That was, you'd never done it before. It was your first time. And you were also very, very young, right? Like you became my mom at 19. And so many mistakes were probably made, right? We both know that. But they're mistakes that I don't think we've both ever talked about, right? I've never said to you, Mom, like you did this to me and I'm really mad at you and I'm working on it myself. But if you had to give me an explanation, what would you say to me if you wanted, if I came to you and I said, Mom, you made all these mistakes and I'm mad at you, what would you say?
What I say, I'm really young that time.
Mm-hmm.
ਮਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਬਣ ਗਈ ਸੀਗੀ
Mm-hmm.
ਪਰ how I
How to actually be a mom? You didn't
yeah,
know. Yeah.
yeah. And ਪਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਚਪਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਕਰ ਗਈ ਸੀਗੀ
Mm-hmm.
ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਸੰਭਾਲਣਾ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੈ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ
Mm-hmm.
ਹਨਾ
Mm-hmm.
ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਕੀ ਸਿਖਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ
Mm-hmm.
ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ
Mm-hmm.
and after that when I learned those things after a few years then it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
You grown up.
Mm-hmm.
You but thank God to my husband.
Mm-hmm.
He's supporting me so much. And ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ your dad's ਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੱਥ ਹੈ ਤੇਰੇ.
Mm-hmm.
I'm young, but my husband is so supporting me.
Supportive of you.
Yeah, yeah. And behind you,
Mm-hmm.
you learn everything
Mm-hmm.
how's the world, the different people, how you treat the people, how you trust somebody or
Mm-hmm.
you not trust somebody. They everything you learn,
Mm-hmm.
or even I learn myself
Right. Through dad.
from my husband and your dad.
Right. See, but I
Yeah,
think even though that's the case, like yes, you did, but I think, you know, you and I have to we're gonna have to accept, you and I are both gonna have to accept that like I needed a mom,
yeah,
right? I didn't need just a dad growing up. I needed a mom. And as much as like, yes, you were young, you know, yes, you were still learning, yes, you made mistakes. A part of me is always still going to feel a very certain way towards you, towards my childhood, towards our relationship, because you couldn't be that mom, right? And it's scary for me to even talk about those things with you. It's hard for me to even talk about those things with you. I think some things that I'm able to talk about with other people about what I needed from you or what I wanted from you, I can't say them to you, right? Because first of all, because it's too hard, and second, because I don't want to hurt your feelings because I knew you were so young, you know. But I think the reason that I wanted you to be the first guest is also because like the ways that our relationship is, you know how you say like I'm an anxious person, I'm this, I trust people really quickly, I'm too quick and all these kinds of things. I'm all of those things too, right? The only thing is that I'm learning more about myself and I'm learning more and more how much I am like you. And there's a lot of things, like even though I love you and you're my mom and you know I came out of you, right? And I know you love me too. There's a lot of things about me that are you that I don't like, right? And you might know that too about yourself, right? You might think to yourself too, like that there's so many things that you didn't like about Nani, maybe, and then you became her, parts of you became her, and you might think, oh, I'm just my mom, like my mom, and I don't want to be like my mom. So like that's why I wanted to even have you as the first guest, because a lot of the stuff that I'm learning to let go, I'm releasing, I'm working on, are things that I became because of our relationship, right? And I think I have to be very honest with you in saying that a lot of those things are stuff that I'm, if there's like a knot, right? If there's like a bunch of thuggy and they're all tied together and they're messy, my whole job right now in my life for myself is to open those knots and to let go of those knots. And a lot of it has to do with our relationship. A lot of it has to do with things that I didn't get from you, right? Or things that I learned from you or didn't learn from you. And I wanted to ask you all these questions because I think we all deserve to know our moms more. I think we need to learn about our moms as their women, not just as our moms, right?
Yeah.
So the last question I want to ask you, it's actually pretty funny and spicy for me at least. Okay, so I'm such a loud, bold person, right? Ever since I was a kid, I've just been the girl that talks to them so much. And I used to get in trouble not because I like did stupid, like I would do stupid things, but I would get in trouble because people would be like, oh, like tari di kuri ki na bol diya, like like I would just I'm a crazy person, I think, right? But crazy in the way like I'm very bold, I'm very sassy, right? I'm very tenacious. Like, really, I'm a strong person. I'm a strong woman, right? But for you, as my mom, right? What was it like for you to raise a daughter like me? What was it like for you to raise a daughter with such strong opinions and someone who is such a like feminist or like is very empowered, very strong, right? Somebody who tells you what she's going to do and tells you where she's going to go, not ask you if she can go somewhere, not ask you if she can do something. Did you ever feel challenged? Did you ever feel uncomfortable? Or what did you learn from having a daughter like me?
I never feel guilt. I have like daughter like you.
Mm-hmm.
I learned so many things for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just like जो बोलना बोल सकते हैं. Your voice be strong.
Mm-hmm.
You write. You speak really strongly.
Mm-hmm.
Always बोलना सच बोलना.
Mm-hmm.
And I learn from my daughter and you.
I am your daughter, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have another one?
कि अपने आप नू मैं पहला रखना है.
Mm-hmm.
I am first
Yeah.
and होर बाद च.
So you learned that from me.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you're learning. I always wondered, did you ever feel like did you ever wish that like maybe I was just quieter or maybe I just was a little bit more like of a I don't know how to say this, like a little bit more complacent, somebody who just like did listened, doesn't really like cause any trouble, rocks the boat. You never felt that way?
No.
Why not?
Sometimes I don't feel it. You, my daughter.
What does it feel like?
You that's strong.
What do
Because I'm not strong that much.
But what does
right?
it feel like if I'm not your daughter? Say it. I'm waiting for you to say it. I already know it. You feel like I'm your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. You feel like
Sometimes
I'm.
you know you my mom.
But we gotta talk about that one day, okay? We gotta
Yeah.
talk about that one day. If
Yeah.
you feel like I'm more like your mom and less
Yeah.
your daughter,
Yeah.
that's a problem, sis.
Yeah. Sometimes मैं तो लगता है मेरी माँ है.
Yep.
And कुछ मैंने सिखा जानी होनी.
Mm-hmm. But you know what, though? I think that's the beauty of the mother-daughter relationship. As I think more than anything, as women, we're always learning from one another. And so, just like you're learning from me, I'm probably gonna learn from my daughter one day. You know what I mean? God hoping I have one, but I'm gonna learn from her.
One part I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
You say, "Mom, set the boundary."
Yeah, I was waiting for you to use that word.
Set the boundary, Mom. You have to.
Yeah.
Then I just last year I set there some boundaries for me.
Yeah.
Myself.
You got to.
Then
You know
I say,
what?
No.
Let's talk about one thing really quickly. One time you set a boundary with me.
Yeah.
Right? So I used to say to mom, I used to tell mom these stories and she used to get triggered. And my mom said to me, Harper, you know what? Actually, I don't like it when you tell me these things. So please don't tell me them anymore because it really makes me anxious and it makes me nervous. And I was like, oh, mommy set a boundary with me. But that was, I think, proud moment. It was like, I felt like a proud mom, in that moment.
Yeah. That thing is I learned from you.
Yeah.
You say me, you set the boundaries, then I see that that day I told you.
You told me, yeah.
Don't tell me anything that stupid things.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, thank you so much, Mom, for being on my first ever episode for Brown Girl Guilt. How did it
Oh,
feel? Do you feel okay? You feeling good?
oh yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I really feel happy
yeah.
and I proud myself ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੱਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਈ
Mm-hmm.
ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਤੂੰ ਮੇਰੀ
Interview ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਆ।
ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਤੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਗੈਸਟ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਈ I feel really that time I really feel myself I really proud myself
Mm-hmm.
I have daughter
Yeah.
thank for God
Thank God, yes.
yeah
So if anybody is listening to this episode who has a daughter, if a mom's listening to this, or for anybody who is going to be the parent of a daughter, it doesn't have to be just a mom, for anyone that's going to eventually be a parent for a daughter, what advice would you give to them for raising their daughters?
just trust your daughter
Mm-hmm.
trust your kids
Yeah.
and ਸਿਰਫ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹੀ ਸਿਖਾਓ ਕਿ don't break your trust
Mm-hmm.
and just ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜੀ ਲੈਣ ਦਿਓ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਜੀ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ ਹੈ ਉਡਾਰੀ ਮਾਰ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਸ let them because ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਲੰਘੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ we are some a daughter and mother now they are daughter and we are mom
Mm-hmm.
ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਉੜਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਪਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਉੜ ਸਕੇ
Mm-hmm.
right
Yeah, well now you're, ਉਹੀ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕੇ, ਤੁਹਾਡੀਆਂ ਹੁਣ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਉੜਦੀਆਂ।
yeah
ਆਪਣੇ ਲਈ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਵੀ,
Yeah.
and all the women before you,
yeah
right?
ਕਿਤੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਆਪ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ just
Mm-hmm.
ਟਰਸਟ ਕਰੋ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉੜ ਲੈਣ ਦਿਓ
Let them fly. Alrighty, thank you so much, Mom. Love you.
love you too baby
I'll see you on the other side of this microphone because we live together. Ayy.
Yeah.
Okay, say bye.
bye
And there you have it, folks. My therapist would be so freaking proud of me right now. On that note, I'm going to go pour me a fat one because I deserve it. That was a lovely conversation. I'm so stoked and excited that you're all going to be joining in for the ride. I hope that was spicy enough for you all to tune in again. Every Sunday, Brown Girl Guild, new episode is going to be out and it's going to be spicier than the one previous to that. That's going to be a lot of merchan that I'm going to have to keep maintaining. But thank you guys. Thank you for allowing me to cultivate this space. Thank you for entering this space. And like always, let's just continue to practice gratitude, glory, and grace with those around us and for ourselves first and foremost. Mwah. Love you guys.